Hey, it's me, Amber. I am in a very belated fashion, following up with the first official review. There's no, preview screening for the first show. But as I mentioned in other videos, this series is about me being a first-time season ticket subscriber or season ticket holder at the MRT, the Merrimack Repertory Theater, which is a production company in Lowell, Massachusetts that produces 5 shows in their season. And I saw a book, which I'll do an entire video all about the reason why I got this ticket and what drew me in. But the first show of the season, my ticket was for October 16th. I always am going to have a Thursday night because the ticket that I selected is always a Thursday night. It's supposed to be kind of in their launch week. And again, I'm a theater newbie, so I don't really know all the correct terms. I'm sure I'll get some comments or I will educate myself along the way. But the first production was Misery. Maybe you have read this book or maybe you've seen the movie. I understand Kathy Bates was the female character in the movie production of this, and I think she won an Academy Award for it. I have not seen the movie, and I had not read the book. I have read Stephen King. I am a bit of a fraidy cat, so a lot of Stephen King stuff isn't probably geared towards me, but it was funny because this being an October 16th ticket, Halloween was not far behind, and I actually ended up being the clown from It, which also I had never read or seen. I did see that a few days after I dressed up as a clown. And I wasn't that scared. Maybe the book would be more scary, but I minimally had to cover my eyes. So anyways, back to Misery. I'll scan this in and show, but this is a little bit of the information that they send out with the 5 shows. And they all have about a month-long run time, a little bit shorter. So Misery ran from October 15th to November 2nd. Here's the playbill. I'll scan this in too. So this show was really cool. I had no idea what to expect. I'd never been into the theater where these performances take place. And I made sure I got myself an aisle seat so I could have a little extra room to like lay my shit down, coat, purse, whatever, and have an easy in and out. So I think in theory, I may always be right next to the same person. I forgot to notice. Actually, now that there have been 2 shows, it wasn't the same people, but it's mostly older white people at these shows. So maybe I'm just forever going to think I'm 17, I'm 39, but I am not a retiree. So if you don't know about Misery, there's, I think like the general plot or summary of this book, movie, show is an author gets into a really bad car accident where he's stranded. I believe it's a snowstorm, and he sustains a pretty serious injury where he's like incapacitated, and a woman takes him into her home and helps him to kind of stabilize because I think they're in like a really remote area. Maybe it's Colorado, some type of mountainous area. And this woman happens to be like a super fan. And as the play goes on, the book, the movie goes on, you realize she's mentally ill and she's obsessed with him. She obtains a briefcase that has a working document for his next book to come out, where a character from a past series, I believe, she really loved, dies. And that made her really lose her shit. And she essentially kidnaps this author and holds him hostage and forces him to kind of like rewrite this book, or that's her goal. So in this production, there were 3 performers. I don't know what that type of show is called. I will do a little write-up that might, it's not like a duo or a trio. I don't know if there's like a trio show, if there's terms for this. So there's a sheriff played by one actor, the crazed fan and then the author. And they didn't change the setup a lot, but they used lighting to help change the scene, to show the mountain scene, when she leaves, when she's in the community, when he's home alone. They showed the room where he's held and the kitchen. I know that most people who were at this performance knew what to expect because they were laughing at the parts that were intended to be comical. And now that I've seen that show, I really want to see the movie, because I imagine Kathy Bates to probably be pretty incredible for this character. My mouth was open. I was like shocked the entire time. I was pretty much like this. And I'm looking around to see, it's like, anybody else shocked? Nobody else was shocked. Everybody knew kind of what was to be expected. It was awesome. It was so fun. You know, the show, let's see, starts at 7 p.m. I get out of work at 4. I get home by 4:45. So it's a little bit of a quick turnaround. It takes about 25 minutes for me to get to the theater from my home in New Hampshire, to head over the line into Lowell to find parking. I found great parking the first time. I found great parking the second time. Knock on wood that I continue to find great parking. There's supposed to be parking included with a season ticket pass. And so actually the second show I went to, I did ask the ushers, like, what's the deal with this? So who knows? But it was really fun. I forget how long the show was. There was not an intermission, which I really liked. I want to like stay in my seat and then get the heck out of there. They were selling like beer, wine, water, snacks, tea, soda, that type of stuff before the show. There were bathrooms you could get out and use if you needed to leave during the show. And then after the performance concluded, because I want to say this October 16th date was actually their second night of opening. So they're still kind of working stuff out, I want to say. The pass that I got, the season ticket pass, was marked down because it's a weeknight. I got the previews first week pass for Thursdays at 7. And I think because they're more at the beginning of the runs of the shows, which is fine with me. I wouldn't know the difference, and I'm looking for a deal. Since I'm not a big time theater knower-over, and I'm kind of new to this, so me being green and having one of these kind of pre-passes, pre-show passes, whatever, doesn't make a big difference for me. But I want to say I was probably in and out of there in an hour and a half, which is awesome. So I probably got home by 9:30, 10, and I had a great time. I will be sharing some pictures of what I wore, because part of this commitment I made to myself, as I mentioned, is that I would get dressed up. So for me, that means putting on a little makeup, wearing some kind of jewelry, wearing something that is not work clothes or sweats. I have like a lot of cute outfits, dresses that I don't really have a lot of opportunities to wear, just given like the nature of generally how I spend my time. So this is a time for me to feel fancy, and the usher told me I looked really pretty and she liked my outfit. So it's just going to encourage me to continue. I mean, it's fun to dress up and wear fun things. Dress how you feel. So I loved this first performance. I was shocked by like what the play was about and how it was carried out, and it really encouraged me to want to read this book and see the movie as well. I think the actors were incredible. I'll shout them out here. So Misery is, I think, like the theatrical iteration of it was by William Goldman, and it's based again on the novel by Stephen King. There were 3 actors, like I said. Buster, who I think was the sheriff, was played by Christopher Sinataro. So, sorry. Paul Sheldon was played by Tom Coyner. Annie Wilkes was played by Karen McDonald. And then they have some additional production credits. The scenic designer was Ryan Bates, costume designer Yao Chen, lighting designer Brian Lilienthal, sound designer David Remedios, stage manager Elena Ring, fight director Ted Hewlett, because yeah, there was a little bit of fighting, and the director was Courtney Sale. So again, this ran from October 15th to November 2nd. You get a nice little playbill with every performance you go to. I'm a pack rat, so I'm holding on to the ticket. I'll take a picture of it. And my next review is going to be about Ring of Fire, the music of Johnny Cash, which I did not know a lot about Johnny Cash except the song "A Boy Named Sue." So I used to listen to Sunday morning country oldies growing up in my family. So thank you for hanging with me and letting me get out a very untimely review on this performance. Again, I loved it. I think $150 as a buy-in to get tickets to every one of these shows. This ticket would have been $42. So to pay $150 and then to get tickets to 5 shows, it helps the theater as a subscriber sustainer. That's probably great for their numbers. And I have 5 events to look forward to. So thank you for joining me, and I look forward to sharing my little outfit that I wore on the page. Happy holidays, everyone. Take care.